Welcome. You're tuned into Tangled Threads. If you're digging our content, hit the like button and subscribe. Thank you. I've been lurking around here for a while. Never really thought I'd have my own story to post, but here goes nothing. I landed a new job a few months back. It was a step up from my previous one. Better pay, better hours, the works. I was over the moon, not just for me, but for us. My wife, Jenna, and I. We'd been hitting a rough patch, what with the stress of bills and life in general. I thought this job was the break we needed. I'm not the kind of guy who takes a lot of time off. Workaholic, Jenna used to tease. But with this job, I decided to do things differently. I saved up my PTO with this idea to surprise Jenna. I planned a whole day just for us, something to reignite that spark, you know? Bought her favorite flowers, chocolates that cost more than a sane person should spend on sweets, and reservations at that fancy French place she always drops hints about. So, I took a surprise day off, didn't breathe a word to Jenna. Wanted it to be a perfect surprise. I remember walking up to our door, key in hand, balancing all the goodies, and thinking how lucky I was. But the universe had other plans. I opened the door, and the house was quiet. Too quiet. That's when I heard it. The unmistakable sound of laughter and more, coming from our bedroom. My heart sank. I knew before I even reached the bedroom door, but I had to see it. And there they were, Jenna and some guy I'd never seen before, tangled up in the sheets that were a wedding gift from my sister. I saw red. Literally, everything just tinted red. The guy, he must have seen the look on my face because he started stuttering some nonsense, trying to cover up. I didn't hear him. My hands acted before my brain did. I'm not proud of it, but I gave him a piece of my mind. And my fists. Nothing too graphic, but enough to make sure he remembered me. He scrambled out of there, leaving behind a trail of apologies and excuses. Jenna started crying, going on about mistakes and how it didn't mean anything. I couldn't stand to be in the same room as her. I left the flowers, the chocolates, all of it, and walked out. I spent the night trying to drown out everything with video games at my buddy's place, barely slept. The next day Jenna texted me saying we need to talk. I agreed, figuring it was necessary to at least close this chapter properly. We decided to meet at the old park where we used to walk our dog before he passed last year. Felt fitting somehow, given we were about to put another part of our lives to rest. It was overcast. Looked like rain might start any minute. Jenna was already there, sitting on one of the benches, looking small. I took a deep breath and approached. "Hey," I said, keeping my distance, standing while she sat. She looked up, eyes red. "Hey, I'm so sorry, She started, voice breaking. "Jenna, how could you?" was all I managed. It wasn't angry, just tired, defeated. "I don't know. I was stupid. I felt lonely. You were always working, and he was there, and it was the biggest mistake of my life," she spilled out, words tumbling over each other. "Lonely? I was doing this for us, Jenna. All those hours, planning for a future. For what? For you to throw it away in a heartbeat?" I couldn't keep the bitterness from my voice. I know, and I hate myself for it. Can we try to fix this? Please." Her voice was desperate, clinging to some hope. I shook my head, looking at the ground, then at her. "I don't think we can. Trust is like a mirror, you know. Once it's shattered, you can try to fix it, but the cracks are always there." She sobbed, burying her face in her hands. "So, that's it then? What about all our plans, our dreams?" I felt my own eyes sting. "You broke them, Jenna, not me. I can't be the only one trying to glue them back together. I need to be somewhere where I'm valued. I can't do this anymore." We sat in silence for a while. The only sound was the distant rumble of traffic and Jenna's quiet crying. I stood up, knew if I stayed any longer, I might just crumble too. "I'll have the papers sent to you. Goodbye, Jenna." Walking away from her, from us, was the hardest thing I've ever done. But in that moment, I realized it was also the most honest decision I'd made for myself in years. It wasn't a decision made in anger, but in clarity. I realized that no matter what we had, it wasn't enough for her. And for me, I needed to respect myself enough to walk away from someone who saw our vows as optional. It's been a roller coaster, dealing with the divorce papers, moving out, and just starting over. But in a way, it's been freeing too. I've had time to think about what I want out of life, and more importantly, what I deserve. If there's anything I've learned from this, it's that life is too short to spend it with someone who doesn't see your worth. I'm picking up the pieces, focusing on myself for a while. And who knows? Maybe there's someone out there who's looking for someone like me. But for now, I'm just enjoying the peace, the quiet, and the chance to start anew. Thanks for reading. Just needed to get this off my chest. Update. So, I thought the worst was behind me. I was wrong. Last night took the cake and then some. Jenna showed up at my new apartment out of the blue, completely hammered. It was around 2 a.m., and I was jolted awake by someone banging on my door. At first, I thought I was dreaming, or maybe it was some drunk lost on their way home. But no, it was Jenna, and she was a mess. "Please, take me back. I can't do this without you," she slurred, barely able to stand straight, mascara running down her face. It was hard to see her like that, the woman I once thought I'd spend my life with reduced to this. Jenna, you need help, but it can't be from me. Not anymore." I tried to reason with her, but it was like talking to a brick wall. She wasn't there to listen. She was there to plead, to bargain for a chance that was long gone. She got more agitated, started crying and yelling. It was late, and I was worried the neighbors would start complaining, or worse, call the cops. I tried to calm her down, offered to call her a cab or a friend to pick her up, but she wouldn't budge. Kept saying she needed me, that she'd do anything to make it right. It escalated to the point where she tried to force her way into my apartment, and I had no choice. I called the police. It felt like the ultimate betrayal, watching as they talked to her, as she became more coherent and realized the gravity of her actions. They ended up taking her to sober up, and I was left with this hollow feeling in my chest. I felt bad, really bad. It's one thing to end things over betrayal, but it's another to see the person you once loved in such a state of despair. I keep wondering if there was more I could have done, not to get back together, but to help her find her way out of whatever hole she's dug herself into. It's been a rough ride, and last night was a stark reminder that the fallout from our decisions can come back to haunt us in the most unexpected ways. I'm just trying to move forward, but it's moments like these that make me realize moving on isn't just about finding new ground. It's about dealing with the shadows of the past, too. Thanks for letting me vent. It's been therapeutic in a way. Here's to hoping for quieter nights and brighter days ahead. Jesus, man, that's awful. I'm glad you're moving on appropriately. I can only imagine how that feels seeing her at your doorstep like that. Anyways, let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. When you subscribe, be sure to click the notification bell. Click here for more Tangled threads.